Aloha and welcome to The Secret Art of Huna. I've been running a series talking about how Huna can help you with different aspects of your life, for example, relationships or money or whatever. But I thought today that I'd talk about the deeper truths of Huna, how Huna can really help you at a much deeper level, because it's very easy to focus on the fabulous tools and techniques that we have in Huna, and they are accelerated. They bring about change very quickly. But there's also something a lot deeper, and I think it's time to talk about that now. So I'm going to talk about God, universe, source, whatever your word is for that, because fundamentally Huna is a spiritual practice. Now, back in the day, it was a religious practice as well, but it's not a religion anymore. They destroyed all the temples in 1819, so it's categorically not a religion, but it is a set of spiritual practices. And whether you think of that spirituality as source or the divine or universe or God, whatever works for you, it is a spiritual practice. And within that spirituality, it's also about energy. An energy practice, because from a Hawaiian perspective, from a Huna perspective anyway, everything comes from source and everything is energy. It's all energy, and then really it's just a question of what we do with that energy, how we utilize that energy, how we use that energy to transform what we want on a spiritual level into what we want on a physical level. Because for the Hawaiians, we sat very firmly in both the spiritual and the physical. We're not just physical beings wandering around. We're not just little spirits wandering around. We are in both worlds. And one of our lessons is to learn how to bring that energy down from source, make it manifest on the physical plane. And then, having learned how to do that really well, how to take that energy and start to move back towards spirit. One of the teachers in the lineage that I study was a gentleman by the name of David Bray. David Kaono Hiokala Bray, and I apologize for my pronunciation of his name, which is not quite right. But there we are. He was one of the last practicing kahunas. And when I talk about kahuna in this way, kahuna generally means expert. So it's like a PhD. You had a kahuna boat builder, you had a kahuna of healing. But when I'm using huna in this sense, I'm talking about a kahuna, a real expert in utilizing the energy, in manifestation, in healing, and in spiritual practice. David Bray, Daddy Bray, as he's also known, Daddy Bray was a hula master. And he taught hula, but he was more than that, much more than that. He was extremely spiritual, and he was, I think, probably the best way of translating kahuna in this context is as a shaman, because he knew what to do with energy, and shamans know what to do with energy, but also knowing that that energy comes from source. And one of the most important things in manifestation is your connection with source, the divine, God, and so forth. He had something to say about aloha, the real aloha, and this is on the back of a book. He didn't write much, but this is a great little book which will be back to front in the video, I've realised. But anyway, it's called The Kahuna Religion of Hawaii. It's a little book that he co-wrote with a student of his. And on the back, he quotes something that he says in the book about the real aloha. To be a kahuna, a person is taught all about the material things of life, the negative part. They have to know what harmony and unity is within themselves, God and humanity. They must live according to the secret meaning of aloha. Aloha to the Hawaiian of old is God in us. It means come forward, be in unity and harmony with your real self, God and mankind. Be honest, truthful, patient, kind to all forms of life, and humble. Kahunas had to learn these things. When they learned them, they found God. They beheld nature as God created it. Beauty in nature is found in flowers, trees, and every living thing on earth, sea, air, and fire. Even rocks and stones and earth have life, according to Kahunaism. Kahunas saw beauty, but many of us created ugliness in our hearts and call life sin. Sin is self-made law, not God's law. May the great power bless you. And I love that idea that sin is self-made law. So sin is something that we create. The idea that really the truth, if you want to live a good life, an enjoyable life, if you want to have real sparkle in your life, then you need to be in tune with yourself. You need to really know who you are, and you need to become comfortable with who you are. You need to be pono, as another teacher of mine, John Kaimikawa, used to say. You need to be pono with God, you need to be pono with yourself, and you need to be pono with the planet. Pono means right, at one, peaceful. It appears in the word ho'oponopono, which many of us know as the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer or process. But it's that sense of just everything being aligned and grounded and aligned within us and all around us and with Spirit Source, the Divine. So with Huna, when you're utilizing Huna, when you're using the tools and techniques of Huna, they become much, much more powerful if you're also connecting to Source, trusting Source, giving it up to Source, and knowing that everything is energy, everything comes from Source, and therefore your job is to learn how to feel the energy, experience the energy, bring the energy in, so that you can be a true manifester of the universe, the world, the experiences that you really want. I hope that's been interesting for you. Love to hear what you think. We've got a retreat coming up where I'll be talking a lot more about this. And to find out more, go to https://secretartofhuna.com/retreat. Or if you'd rather talk to me in person, book a call. I'd love to talk to you. Jump on a call. secretartofhuna.com/diary. And I look forward to hearing from you one way or the other very soon.